Hello, Patreon members, and hello, Chris. How are you
Hello.
tonight?
I'm doing well.
You're listening to
Yeah,
the Cantina
welcome to this is episode
Your home for
667,
thought-provoking Star Wars
and we are actually going to take a look at
Join
Echoes of
Albert
the
and
Empire,
Chris
a
in
comic
breaking down the
that
latest
is
news,
now 3
trailers,
issues in,
movies,
but we've been
TV
kind of holding
shows,
off just because we've got other
games,
stuff going on.
and of
But I
course,
felt it was time to talk
your
about
favorite
it,
characters from a
and
galaxy
I really
far,
kind of
far
want to
away.
hear like Chris's perspective as well as anybody else who's been to Galaxy's Edge, because you probably know I've never been there. So this is one of those comics that has like a bunch of people in it that I know are at Galaxy's Edge. There's some scenes in there that I think are reminiscent of what it looks like at the park. But and it's like from one of my favorite writers, which we'll get to here in just a second. So thanks for joining us. And before we get started, how about shout outs, Chris, to some very special people?
Absolutely. We want to give a shout out to our Patreon members, are now part of the tribe level of Patreon membership. We have Krista Martinelli, Will I Am, my girl Paisley, I Got a Brad Feeling, Rita Reborn, Jacob H, Josh C, Uncle Leon, Sharkman Dan, Alejandro, Jackson A, Daz Davies, Risk Bayless, Danny P, Mike Borda, Dante, aka Utini, and Kat, aka Vader's Girl. Then our Delusions of Grandeur level, we have my guy, now this is Rod Racing, Rob G, Steve C, and my girl Vanessa. Thank you so much for your support.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
Also, if you're looking to support the show in any way via Patreon, you can do so at head out to these websites, cantinacast.com/Patreon or patreon.com/the CantinaCast. If you want to sign up to be a Patreon member, there is a free level. So if at this time you're not comfortable with donating anything monthly, you can join for free. And then there's several other tiers that you can go up from there. So if you're interested in supporting the show, go ahead and take a look at those sites.
Yeah, thank you so much for all the patronage, everybody that's a Patreon that exists today. The free members, we've had a number of free members sign up here recently. So thank you guys if you've joined up for that. And we do at least one Patreon show a week. Sometimes we do more. But you can get exclusive content that's only for Patreon members. And if you sign up, you do get access to all the back catalog, which there's a lot of stuff in there. So have fun with that.
All right.
What do we got coming up, man?
So this Sunday, June 28th, we're going to continue with our breakdown of The Mandalorian and Grogu, and we're going to talk about the Hutts and Hunters. So we're going to put those two together, even though I think we could probably fill an episode with the Hutts of things that disturb us from the Hutts, but that's what we're going to talk about. So we will talk about the twins. Yeah. We're going to talk about Embo. We're going to talk all about them this coming Sunday. It's a public show. Again, look for that on the 28th. Then our next show after that will be a Patreon show. That will happen sometime next week, hopefully, and we will cover Echoes of the Empire, which is this Galaxy's Edge themed comic, issues 2 and 3. So look for that. We'll probably have more info this weekend on when those shows will happen. The next one after that is going to be another show around our breakdown of The Mandalorian and Grogu, Heroes and Hermits. So, we'll talk about like Colonel Ward, Zeb, his triumphant return to the big screen, or not return, but his triumphant debut on the big screen.
Yeah.
The Anzellans. Everybody loves the Anzellan, bad baby. Everyone loves them. And then Gattori, the lizard man that kind of helps out Grogu there with some food and some interference to keep Embo away. So we're going to talk about those. We don't have a date yet, but we'll probably have something pinned down by this weekend. So join us on our show that we're having on the 28th this coming Sunday. And we'll probably have dates for the Echoes of the Empire 2 and 3 breakdown, and then The Mandalorian and Grogu, Heroes and Hermits. So with Mandalorian and Grogu, that's going to be like what? 7 shows we've done on Mandalorian and Grogu?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. And after that, I don't know what more we can break down from that. We pretty much taken it broken it down from top to bottom. I mean, what other topics do you think we could cover with that movie?
Yeah, I think we still have I think we'll do a Patreon top like 3 favorite moments from the movie along with honorable mentions. So that'll be there. But in terms of public shows, I don't know, that might be it. We'll have to figure out if there's anything else, because I still have some posters left over. Don't forget, by the way, this next episode, the Hutts and Hunters, as well as Heroes and Hermits, for The Mandalorian Grogu, we will be giving away 2 more posters for that. So if you've not had a chance to enter for a poster, you can send us a question via email, social media, or if you're a Patreon member, you can send us something on Patreon. We'll choose a winner prior to that show, and you will get a poster. We'll also answer whatever question you send to us on the air for that episode. So please continue to send those in. I know a lot of the interest has died off, but the posters are still great, and we still have some, and be happy to send them over to you. So get your questions in before both of those shows, and if we come up with another one, maybe we'll do another one. We can't do one for the Patreon show because of some Patreon like legalities that they've got set up, or we can't do stuff like that. But for the public shows, we definitely can. So 2 more posters to come, maybe a third. We'll see as time goes on. But yeah, looking forward to that. I was looking I called the first one Huts and Hunters, and then I thought, well, I need a second one for the heroes, and I like the alliteration of heroes and hermits. But it's really just one hermit. Like, we're not going to get into a lot of other ones, but
But he played an important role, so you know what? He probably deserves his own topic, I guess.
Yeah, that's for
his own label.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's thank you guys, and let's get into this breakdown. I said we're going to just do issue 1. That may seem kind of weird. We thought about it, but because this one really kind of sets the stage, and I want to get more thoughts, perspective about that whole Galaxy's Edge twist on it, because in some ways this felt like when it was being solicited, it felt like this was going to be some kind of like comic book advertisement for why you should go to Galaxy's Edge. And that's when it was first pitched. And I didn't know who was the writer. I didn't know who the artists were or anything else. And I thought, okay, that seems kind of weird, or, it's fine. It's probably not going to be very good. But then I found out that Ethan Sachs is the writer. And I've actually really been a fan of his stuff. If you don't follow him on social media, he's got some really great takes on Star Wars. Like, just it's not the typical stuff. But when he was announced as the writer, I thought, okay, well, maybe this is going to be a little different. Maybe he's actually going to give us something. And I think there is something significant here. Like, it's still to be determined. Again, we're only going to cover issue 1. And I know, Chris, you've not read issue 2 or 3,
not
which
yet, no.
is out. Okay, so I'm not going to spoil anything.
Thank you.
But I did want to. I was hoping that this would kind of go somewhere and not just be, again, a 40-page advertisement of, again, why you should go to Galaxy's Edge. And I don't think that's been the case. I think it turned out to be something a little bit more material, and the story does have a little bit. Maybe a little bit of risk involved as well, or some opportunity there. But the writer is Ethan Sachs. The art is Jethro Morales and Roy Mercado. Then the colors are by Rachel Rosenberg. So those are the artists in it. But I wanted to get your thoughts before we get into the comic itself. You're flipping pages, and I know you've been to Galaxy's Edge, you've been to Black Spire Outpost a number of times, but what was it like reading this comic and seeing it? Am I right? Does it feel at all like an advertisement, or did you feel like, no, this is really a story, self-contained story that stands on its own? It just happens to be somewhere where you pay Disney money to go have a good time.
Right. So I kind of differ from how you looked at it. So I had to come at it from 2 angles. One, from someone who's just reading the comic with nothing else on their mind. And then 2, as a Galaxy's Edge veteran. I've walked through both coasts, Galaxy's Edge. If you put them all together, I've walked through that corridor 23 times. So I've been 23 times to Galaxy's Edge. And when I started reading the comic, yes, a lot of those locales were just like, yes, I've seen that in real life. When they start talking about the characters, yes, I've been face to face with Doc Ondar. I've been face to face with DJ Rex. Not Ogas, not Savi, but everybody else. I've seen them in the flesh, right?
Yeah. Right.
Now that's looking at it from just reading the comic book.
Yeah.
But coming at it as a veteran of Galaxy's Edge, it did seem like a little advertisement because of the changes that were made at Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland.
Yes.
Because now you have original trilogy characters and good guys and bad guys roaming the land in that main area of the hangar where the Falcon is. That's where you run into the original trilogy characters. Also over by what used to be the First Order side. You have them there. You have, Vader and OG Stormies over there. So that's what it felt like to me reading is that they're like, hey, guess what we have now? And for me, it hit because I'm an OT guy.
Yeah.
So that made me almost want to book a flight and go there like tomorrow.
Go right now.
Yeah, because I really want to experience it. And And for those that live near Galaxy's Edge East, I'm sorry you don't have this yet, but that's another story for another day. But yeah, it felt like, hey, it was talking to me as a Galaxy's Edge veteran. I did say veteran. Hey, I was there on day one. I am a veteran. So yeah, it was like it was calling to me to check out the changes that are at Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland. But yeah, it really, in reading the comic, I could hear the music that that we play. It's kind of like your mind does that to you. You know, when you see something in it, it's like if you see a picture from a real good memory, you hear the music. And that's what happened when I started reading that comic. I was like, yes. So as far as all that for the emotional and the environmental impact that it's had on me, I was able to experience a lot of that just reading the comic book. And that just shows you how powerful literature is, how powerful novels and comic books are, and how I believe it's still a vital medium, even though we got, movies galore and television shows galore and audiobooks and podcasts like us. Just opening a book and reading a page with pictures or without, it's still vital and it's still absolutely legitimate entertainment. So I enjoyed it. And yes, it did make me feel nostalgic for Galaxy's Edge. I did miss it. I miss it every day that I think about it and I can't go. I miss being there. But yeah, it hit the mark there. But again, to answer your original question after saying all these words, if you look at you have to take it from two angles. If I'm just reading the comic, it wasn't really trying to, sell anything to me. But as a Galaxy's Edge veteran, it absolutely tried.
Yeah, no, I get that. I totally get that. In fact, we have in the peanut gallery tonight, Vanessa's in here. She's been taking some cheap shots at you, but she also asks, it's their attempt at bringing the OG trilogy characters into Galaxy's Edge. I wonder if we'll see Mando. Well, I can't say anything because I don't want to spoil the second and third issues. But that would be interesting if they did decide to do all that. I think the one thing that stood out to me, and I could be wrong on this because, again, I'm not as close to it as you two are, and many others that listen to the show, watch the videos. But I remember they talked about how that shuttle was once now Vader's shuttle.
Yes,
or whatever
they
it was.
retconned that. And
we got to see that. It actually happens in this comic book. So they're kind of backing it up and that's saying, we'll get to that here in a second. Right. We are going to spoil this, by the way. So if you haven't had a chance to read this, we'll spoil the heck out of the first issue here. But it were things like that where I felt like, oh, okay, I see how they're doing there. They're tying that all together and really kind of helping to transition folks from the way it used to be to how it's going to be at both parks, I guess, at some point. Yeah.
Actually, I don't know if that's going to happen.
Oh, really? They just going to keep it only one?
Yeah, because, and this is all hearsay, but even
this whole show was built on hearsay. But go on, sorry.
Now Disney has a new CEO, Josh D'Amaro, who was the head of the Disney parks, and now he's a CEO. Supposedly, he was really pushing hard to have two different experiences at Galaxy's Edge West and Galaxy's Edge East. Now he's in charge.
Yeah.
And now he may get what he wants.
Okay.
So we may have a scenario where Galaxy's Edge East may not get those original trilogy changes. Again, it's all hearsay. There's also other like legal, and apparently it's easier to make changes like that from a state level in California than Florida. Other stuff like that.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So they're able to put that, and that's why Galaxy's Edge opened there first because of permit stuff, I guess.
Yeah. Right.
So anyway, that is the word on the street that things are going to stay the way they are for the near future. But things change all the time. And it could be a situation where they make them both the same. But as of right now, the word on the street is Josh D'Amaro wants to keep them different.
Okay. And to be fair, like I know I'm not, again, the norm here, but I've not gone. My plan is to go at some point. But when I heard they were going to make these changes, remember when we talked about it, I was like, dang, I feel like I should go now because I'm going to miss out on what that original experience was.
Yes.
If both parks get updated. If they keep it the same way, well, kind of like to what Vanessa's point is here, where she says makes sense, more reason to get more money. Yeah, because now I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to go to California for one version, and I can still go to Florida for the old version,
Right.
and and I get to experience both of them and not feel like I have massive FOMO because I never got to feel the original one or see the
Right.
original one.
Exactly.
So I think that makes sense.
It does
So
make
I
sense.
kind of like that from that angle. That may not be ideal for people that live in one area that are like, okay, I don't want to fly half across the country when I can just go in my backyard to go see it. That's not fair, kind of thing. But I see it both ways, I guess.
Yeah. So we'll look at it this way. You have about 10 months to get yourself down to Florida, to Orlando, to Hollywood Studios to check it out. And then the reason why I say 10 months is because next April, if we're all good and well, we're going to be in Los Angeles for Star Wars Celebration. We either get there a couple of days early or stay a couple of days after the con is over.
Yeah,
you got to go to Disneyland. Check out that's you got to do it.
It's on my list because I will be there. I think I fly in that Saturday or Sunday the week before, so I'll be there for like a full week. So I'm trying to figure out what the heck I'm going to do during those first 3 days. But this is like I've put it off. There's no reason why I'm not going to go to Galaxy's Edge while I'm there. So
absolutely.
But that's enough about me. So here's Alex just chimed in on his take on this comic just really quickly. He says, I know nothing about Galaxy's Edge. I'm doing some translation there for you. Was fun to see the OG crew back together again. Reminded me of the old He-Man comics, campy, which I like, hits the highs and nostalgia, fun read. And that's how I felt about the comic. Like I like Ethan Sachs because he is kind of an OG character, OG writer. I know like the original trilogy is like his favorite. I've always loved his takes and of like the other stuff that he's written. But I did feel like, hey, this is like the old crew together. But at the same time, there was Ray who's prominent in this role, right?
Absolutely.
So we got kind of like the best of both worlds going on here. And we'll get into how that all kind of plays out here in just a second. But I felt the same way. Like it was actually a pretty good start. And I would say like, I don't want to ruin anything, but the comic stays pretty solid in the next 2 issues. Now, we've talked about it many times. Comic books can start off really hot and they can do really well, like on the first 4 issues of a 5-issue run. And then they'll just, nosedive on that 5th issue. So it's just, sometimes it can be a little inconsistent. So to be determined on whether or not this sustains, but so far I think it's come out to a great start. So let's, as far as the other, so they had Doc Ondor, Tohoga. Is that the character? Is she somebody like that was his assistant? I think at one point, is that a character that's at the park?
Not in a costumed role. No.
Okay.
His assistants are all dressed in their uniform to work for Doc.
Okay.
I didn't recognize that as a natural character.
That's fine. And some of these characters were made up for this comic. We're going to talk about 2 in particular, Stax and Farmer, who were very briefly mentioned in this comic, but they are prominently in issue number 2, and those are 2 clones, ex-clones that now have taken up. They run like an army surplus store in but now that I say that, wasn't there a transition they were going to introduce like an army surplus something at the new one?
Yes, that used to be the First Order depot. That is now the army surplus.
Okay, so that's probably where Stax and Farmer are going to come in now. Got it.
I was saving that till we got there. But
okay, sorry. It just clicked for me. I was like, whoa, wait a second. Yeah.
But no, they are there. Of course, that particular part of the story, if you're comparing, if you want to try to like lay it on top of a Galaxy's Edge, it's only valid for California, for Disneyland, because obviously at Disney World, it's still the First Order depot.
Yeah.
That's the one thing. But yeah, that is the new location or the new name for that depot. Is a surplus. Yep.
All right. Well, I don't want to ruin it because again, they play a much bigger role in the 2nd issue, so I won't spoil anything else beyond that. I don't even think I have a picture of them to talk about when we get to this one. But we had Oga, Mubo. What the heck's that dude's name? I've seen a little purple guy. He's been in other stuff before. In fact, he was in the Oculus, Star Wars, Galaxies, whatever, the 3D headset one.
Yeah.
He was in that game quite a bit.
Yeah. I have that game, and nothing really bothers me as far as like motion sickness or anything.
Yeah.
But I got sick playing that game, so I had to stop. It's sad. I know.
It's good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun.
I couldn't do it. I played for like 45 minutes and after that 44th minute, I was like, ugh.
Yeah, it can be rough for some folks. Yeah. I'd say if you're into like virtual reality 3D headsets, the newer ones are better because they have a higher frame rate, and so it's a lot easier on your eyes and your brain, so you don't get as sick quicker. But and the resolution's higher too, which helps. So, and then Savvy, I know Savvy's out there, but they Savvy, and then there was Kala, which I wasn't familiar with that character.
Yeah, Kala is not a character that I've acknowledged in Galaxy's Edge, just going to the park itself. So yeah, you got Doc, you got Oga, you got Rex,
DJ Rex.
Yeah, you got Savi. Those are the ones that are characters in Galaxy's Edge, and really we only get to interact or see Doc in his den of antiquities, and then Rex over at Oga's Cantina.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, let's talk about the comic. Let me bring up the comic book here. I'll bring up my screen share, and we can take a look at all the fun pics. So here's the cover of this is the regular issue. There's a number of variant covers too, which have been really awesome. But this, of course, starts in Black Spire Outpost. We're on Batu, and it opens in quote present day is what the comic says, and that's always, I love when they do that, because you know when you first read a comic, you're trying to figure out, okay, what is present day. I was really surprised. Like, I did not read a lot about this comic going into it, because it was like Galaxy's Edge, and I'm like, I don't really know much about it, but you know, it's Ethan Sachs, so I'll read it. So I didn't spoil anything. So I was very surprised to see that we're starting here on Black Spire Outpost. You've got a speeder bike that's kind of racing in. You see a hooded figure down here in the bottom left, and it says that time frame's now. And I thought, okay, this looks like a Jedi, so maybe this is Luke Skywalker that's coming down.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I thought it was. I thought it was Luke.
And they keep it hidden throughout the, you know, as they're going. I'm skipping over a lot of these panels, but as it's going through Black Spire Outpost, they're showing us a lot of the characters. I've got to put here's, you know, Doc Ondor. You can see him here. That's the other character, Tahoga, that we mentioned wasn't, I guess, not a part of the show or part of the park right now. But, you know, and then other people are watching. I think they show a lot of the characters, seeing everybody. This is a big scene that somebody's coming in on a speeder bike this fast. And then you can see here in the back end of it, you can see DJ Rex back there. This is the cantina here. And this hooded figure is walking up into the bar. And it turns out to be Rey. And I thought, oh, wow, that's surprising that we would get Rey content. So where this takes place, I assume because they are, she says they need help fighting the Resistance. So I'm placing this somewhere after The Last Jedi, but before The Rise of Skywalker, and that kind of 1 year period where they're still working on stuff. And so she comes in and she goes over to Oga, and she's asking about an ancient Jedi weapon. So Rey is looking for an ancient Jedi weapon. She feels it's going to give him the upper hand, in fighting. Well, I guess maybe this might be, now that I say that, it could be after, no, it can't be after the Phantom Menace, because Phantom Menace, Jesus.
No.
After part 6, because there's no time frame. This has to be after The Last Jedi. Sorry, I'm just trying to rationalize this through my head. But she's coming in here and she's looking for this ancient Jedi weapon, and she brings Oga a number of credits to exchange for this. That's not enough. And I don't know if this is part of her character, but it's kind of funny. She's, you know, talking about how, you know, throughout the entire comic, she'll stop and be like, oh, boy, I really could use some more credits, or I could use some more money or whatever else. You're going to need to give me more for more information. Is that do you pick up on that from her character at the park? So
really,
like an opportunist or someone who's like, you know, for hire when it comes to information or intel?
So that kind of came into play with the interaction if you were a Voyager on the Galactic Star Cruiser.
Oh, interesting.
Because you part of the mission that you have when you go on world to Batu from the Halcyon is you have to go get some information from Oga at the cantina, but you never see her. The information's passed along through like one of the bartenders, right?
Gotcha.
But if you are not, like if it's just a normal day and you decide to go get a fuzzy tauntaun, no, the bartenders will mention Oga, but she has like no interaction. There's no even with the interactive games and that you could play there really isn't anything that where you interact with her, like even in a virtual type of way. She's just like in her office doing her thing. That's how they play it. And, you know, the bartenders will be like, oh, Olga will be so upset at this. Oh, she's going to be mad at this, you know, stuff like that.
Right.
But really, like I said, and it's not even that much of an interaction. But again, one of the, if you were on the Galactic Star Cruiser, you had a mission to get some information from Olga's. And I have one somewhere. I actually have several of them somewhere, but what it is it's a coaster that had a QR code, and you're supposed to scan it with your data pad to get vital information to help the resistance.
Okay. So, data pad being your phone.
Your phone, exactly.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And
so this tracks in terms of like her being someone who you can get intel from, because that's kind of what's happening here, right? Rey goes to her and knows that of all the people, she's going to have a lot of information about this particular Jedi ancient artifact, which she does, right? She hands it over, but she has to do, you know, she only does it if she's paid well, and that could be credits, it could be food or other things later down in the story that she gives her to continue on with the story. So, so we get, so she tells her Olga starts by talking about where this artifact came from. And this is even like, you know, they're checking all the boxes for me, because here we get a flashback where she's talking about this ancient Jedi weapon, and it turns out it's kind of, you can see it's an artifact. Well, the first thing that should jump out to you is that they're wearing their High Republic garb.
Exactly. Yep.
And that's this guy over here, Master Drow. He is one of the characters from the kids animated the High Republic Adventures, Jedi Adventures,
the Young Jedi Adventures.
Young Jedi Adventures, yeah, that's one of the kids in there. He's just a lot older now in this time period. But the backstory is that while they were on Batuu, the Jedi wanted to create a temple there, and so as part of the excavation of the land.
Hey everyone, you've been listening to a preview of this Patreon exclusive episode. If you'd like to hear the full episode, as well as a huge back catalog of other Patreon exclusive material, head on over to patreon.com/CantinaCast and sign up for the We Are All the Republic tier at just $2 a month. That'll get you all of the audio episodes, or if video is your thing, please consider the This Is the Way tier at just $5 a month. There's also 2 higher tiers in Now Part of the Tribe and Delusions of Grandeur, which gets you a shout out at the start of every show, your name in the credits at the end, and more. Thank you so much to all of our Patreon members and all of our supporters, and may the Force be with you always.
You're still listening? Wow, that's amazing. Well, I'm here to give you the disclaimer. Normally we do a big, long, drawn-out disclaimer thing saying what's what and who's what and all that other stuff, but I think you guys kind of know that Lucasfilm and Disney have no affiliation with us at all, and we have none with them. We talk about Star Wars, which is their property, and all that other good, fun stuff, but I think you can tell which is our stuff and which is their stuff. If you can't, well, then send a lawyer to send an email to me, and I'll be glad to chat with them. Other than that, you know what's what, so that's your disclaimer.